What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're having a look at the brand new Toki event. And this Toki event is very similar to what we've had previously, where you can get your hands on these turtles, which are definitely what you want to be farming for, as, you know, getting EXP materials is actually relatively difficult with the introduction of the level limit break system. So this Toki event, I feel like, is actually a lot easier compared to the previous couple of events that we've had, and that's mainly due to the fact that the free-to-play character in the event that they give you, being the Toki character, which you can, you know, farm very easily. You can just get like one copy just by completing the 20 stamina difficulty. It's very easy. But then for the 30 stamina difficulty is definitely a lot harder, and if you have the Toki character, it makes it a lot easier for you. But also with the introduction of this Clash Jinbei, this guy also makes the event a lot easier too in one of the stages, which we'll talk about throughout the video. But also with the introduction of this event, there is actually some special missions. Depending on how many of these turtles that you get, you'll be able to get your hands on some pretty cool rewards. You know, you got level limit break posters, you got gems, you got rumble scrolls, I think, and, you know, just really cool stuff. So if you want to go ahead and farm it all up, there's a legend ticket here as well. So make sure you go ahead and farm it up just for that alone, but also just because the Toki character is just okay, and she's probably going to be good in the upcoming treasure map. Probably there's going to be one random boss where this Toki is actually really good for. Let's just quickly talk about what this character actually does. So Toki is a Dex Cerebral Free Spirit. Her captain ability doesn't really matter, but the 12-turn cooldown reduces cooldown by 1, reduces attack down by 5, a 1.75 color affinity, and then if your captain's slot is a Wano slot, you get a 2x attack boost for 1 turn. So the really cool thing in this event is that if you end up using a friend captain Hiyori, you'll be able to have Wano slots for when you need to activate this special, so you'll be able to get an attack boost and a color affinity off of one special ability alone. Plus on the final boss stage there is a variation where you do need to get rid of attack down, so this character is perfect for this content. I'd suggest farming the lower stamina first to get this character. She comes at max skill, so you don't need to worry too much about that. She is boosted for the event, gives you additional drop stuff, so she's definitely a character you want to be considering to put on your team to take on this event. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 4 different teams that I have for you guys today to take on this Toki event. So jumping into the first team, this is going to be, you know, with a lot of characters that, you know, some of you guys out there may not have access to, such as Sabo and Ace, considering, you know, they are a treasure map legend. Also Zoro and Sanji from the recent One Piece Day Sugar Fest, as well as the treasure map rare recruit Eneru. That Eneru, by the way, is fantastic because he deals with so many of the gimmicks on the final fight. But on Battle 3, there's 2 different variations. There's a variation with Ulti, and then there's one with Hiyori. They both have the same HP, and they both do mostly the same things, just with one minor difference. Ulti, as you saw, gave us paralysis, whereas the Hiyori does damage reduction, percent damage reduction. And one of the good things is the free-to-play Clash Jinbei that just released gets rid of all of the gimmicks on Battle 3. So if you have him on your team, you deal with everything on that stage. And then Battle 4 looks a little alarming, but it's actually pretty straightforward. There's the, you know, 2 enemies with 4 million HP. There is Despair, and they change your slots to unfavorable. Friend Captain Hiyori is exactly what you want to be doing on this stage, as you'll be able to get a full board of Wano slots, and they actually get locked as well with her special, and she actually gets rid of Despair. Hiyori deals with everything on this stage, and then when you reach the final stage, you are still going to have those Wano slots, which is going to be pretty important, because when you reach the final stage versus Toki with 15 million HP, Toki will give you super blocked slots, and the only way to get around that is by having, you know, either Wano slots, Semla slots, Rainbow slots before you enter this stage. There's no way to outright remove super bomb slots, or super block slots, should I say. So the best way around it is to use Hiyori on Battle 2, or Battle 4, should I say, carry it into Battle 5, and then you have to deal with 2 different sets of gimmicks. One set of gimmicks has the threshold and the percent damage reduction. The other one has attack down and bind. And I think all of the clips here that I recorded, they all deal with all the debuffs, but all the clips, for some reason, I ended up getting the same gimmick. So I don't know what conditions have to be fulfilled for the second set of gimmicks, but it had been reported that those were some gimmicks that you could locate, so I wanted to just state it out there, just in case if you guys encounter that and have no idea what's going on. We believe that there are 2 different sets of gimmicks that you can encounter on Battle 5. of course I wanted to go ahead and use my man Mr. Slam Jam Katakuri, and this team looks pretty straightforward, and it pretty much is. You know, once again, using the free-to-play Toki and the Jinbei, those characters are going to be relatively constant with most of the teams you're seeing in this video today because they deal with so many debuffs by themselves, and they are free-to-play characters, so there's not really an excuse. They're free-to-play, and they're currently available in the game. There's no real excuse, and as I said at the start of the video, you can go ahead and get Toki by playing the lower stamina difficulty. It's extremely easy. You can literally build a team and just auto-clear the 20 stamina difficulty. It's not going to be that difficult, but then when you have them, it makes it a lot easier. Now, a couple of characters here is we are using Luffy from the Kizuna, and he's pretty great because Luffy gets around a lot of different gimmicks. He gets around the bind, he gets around the % damage reduction, I believe it is, so he's great. And then we have Sasaki, who is not boosted, unfortunately, but he does get around the damage threshold. Because he's like one of the only characters that is Dex that gets around threshold, and he also provides an orb boosting effect for powerhouse and driven characters, which doesn't really matter that much, but you know, it's a nice little addition that he can provide considering it is the only orb boosting mechanic we have on our team. But once again, pretty straightforward. Katakuri is really good to use on Battle 4, as you can use it to get a really good attack boost on the final boss stage, though you can still go ahead and use Toki for an attack boost instead. But you know, if you are inflicted with normal attacks only, if you have the level limit break Katakuri, you can get an attack boost on activation, which is actually kind of required for this team to actually get around Battle 4. So if your Katakuri does not have the ability to provide an attack boost on initial activation, you may actually just want to go ahead and use it on Battle 3 instead, get the attack boost given to you on Battle 4, and then on the final battle, just rely on Toki's attack boost rather than Katakuri's that you can get instead. It'll still work out either way without too many hassles. Looking at the next team here is going to be using Cat Viper and Dogstorm on the crew, and to be honest, you don't really need both of them. Just having one of them is good enough, but of course, because we have both of them, we can activate the superclass special a little bit earlier, which does mean that we don't have to do as much stall, and we do need to do like a tiny little bit of stall just on with Dogstorm. But you know, the thing is you could just replace Dogstorm with something else, because Cat Viper does reduce his own cooldown on Battle 3, so you don't really need to worry about his cooldown. But because Dogstorm doesn't reduce his own cooldown, you know, you do need a little bit of stall there. But again, you could just replace Dogstorm with a character that is boosted or something like that, because I don't really think you need both of the effects to be activated, so it shouldn't be too bad. And realistically, you could probably use Dogstorm as the captain instead. That means when you use his special on Battle 4, you get the orb boost in the following turn, and then Toki gives you the attack boost, so that probably would actually work a little bit better than what you're seeing here. And you know, Dog and Cat are going to be really great options, because on the final boss stage, there is the variation where you can get the enemy that has damage reduction and damage threshold, and of course with their captain abilities they just bypass it with their normal attacks, which means you don't even need to bring a special ability to remove it. So just makes team building a little bit easier when you have a character that can just bypass the gimmicks altogether. So Cat Viper and Dogstorm are very, very wise options for clearing this content relatively quickly, but also pretty efficiently. And then, of course, this final variation of a team here is just a bit of an obscure one. Once again, it's just, you know, the combination of a Hiyori friend captain with Clash Jinbei and the free-to-play Toki, that deals with most of the gimmicks. So the only things you'll have to deal with, you have to deal with bind, you have to deal with the threshold, and you have to deal with the damage reduction. And that's what all three of the characters kind of do here. Kizaru is just a nice character to use as a captain with more minus cooldown, color affinity, chain boosting special we can use on Battle 4. And then we have up Tapu and the Bato specials to get around all of the defensive effects and the bind that can potentially be inflicted on the last stage. And also Bato, when you use his double special activation, he does provide a chain locking effect, so that with the Toki affinity and attack boost is enough damage to actually kill Toki pretty efficiently. So, you know, that's just, again, a really easy team example. You know, as long as you have the characters on the left-hand side of this team, the characters on the right-hand side are relatively interchangeable with whatever you want. So long as you are still getting around the gimmicks, it's pretty easy to build a team for this content comparatively to some of the other point farming or turtle farming events that we've had of past. But that is pretty much going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.